Good morning, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. This was unexpected. I did not mean to do a haul today, but Bath & Body Works woke me up this morning with not only a leveler sale, which I think has gone on for a day or two. So all of the 3-wick candles are $14.95 right now. But today, they also dropped an extra 20%. And this is especially for those of you out there who don't have coupons or, like me, haven't gotten them in a really hot minute. Yeah? It's 20%, and I think like the promo code is REVIVE. So if you're a buy online, pick up in store kind of person, just put those candles in your cart. It doesn't matter. They're not buy one, get one. You don't have to have a specific number. Slap that 20% off, and then I think it probably brings it down to about 12, something like that. I didn't even look at the receipt on these. So I went ahead and got 3 of them. By the way, that Revive promo code will give you free shipping on $50 or less, which is also great. So if you've had your eye on any of those Bath & Body Works candles over the last month and a half, definitely check that out. It all expires at midnight, like Cinderella. So this video is as much a public service announcement for the sale that I think all of you should really take advantage of if anything has caught your eye. But it is also a little bit of a haul. So I got 3 different candles. I was kind of curious about the Easter ones that were coming out, particularly the Daffodil Daydreams. So I picked up one of those. And then I also got 3 other ones that I have to be completely frank with you guys. When it's that good of a sale, I usually buy a few candles and then I've got some to like return if I want to exchange them for something at some point. So I'm generous when there's a certain kind of sale. Okay, so let's talk about Daffodil Daydreams first, because that's the new one, and I think it's like a completely new fragrance as well. So this one looks like this, which is not really my aesthetic, but I've seen worse. I do think it maybe would have popped a little bit more if it had had like a pastel background in it. It's got a lot of white, but it's really cute, and I think a lot of people are going to love it. And this green, this soft pastel green lid is everything, and it really like makes it work. So Daffodil Daydreams, it's a $26.95, by the way, because it's a full wraparound. So the notes on this are whipped marshmallow, pastel clouds, and sweet daffodil. And to be honest, on paper, this is not my candle. I see the marshmallow and I'm like, goodbye. Not for me, not for me. But I saw like Kent picked one up and actually really liked it and thought that it was fairly botanical and fairly conceptual. So I really wanted to at least smell it. I went ahead and picked it up in store. But when I went in and smelled it, I was like, yeah, this is definitely gonna be a return for me. So just, a 3-wick, no colored wax. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is a very underwhelming candle. And it's more underwhelming than Tropidelic was. And Tropidelic was already underwhelming. And by underwhelming, I mean like it's weak. It's weak in the jar. And I just think it would be a miracle if this had strength and throw. I really do. And that's the main issue that I have. Now that I'm smelling it here at home, I actually like it a little bit better than I liked it in the store. So in the store, with all of the various different competing fragrances, I was actually getting a very roasted kind of dimension to it. Like it was it was almost a roasted marshmallow. And I was just not here for it. I was just not. I had a really hard time picking up anything that was floral. And it is true, and Kent even said, the floral dimension of this is definitely a background note. It's not really, although the name Daffodil Dreams kind of implies that it's more of a floral. I would say that this is not a floral, that it's a conceptual, and that it's kind of, to be perfectly honest, it's a conceptual that is both fresh, as in almost laundry fresh. It's a conceptual that is a little tiny bit gourmand with that roasted marshmallow. It's a conceptual that's a little perfumey, and it's conceptual that's a little bit floral. So actually, it's a really strong conceptual, and that it's at least 4 different genres of fragrance combined into one. For me, of those 4, it's the gourmand that is really, at least it's the top note of what it is that you smell. So it's the thing that just hits you right off, that like roasted marshmallow. And it's not even like an uber sweet marshmallow, which on paper I should like it better if it's not so sweet, but I'm not sure that I'm loving that marshmallow note. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because that roasted marshmallow note is also combined with something a little perfumey, and if I'm not mistaken, possibly even like a sandalwood, it just has a very weird, like flat and almost brassy finish. And I'm not really sure if the marshmallow people are gonna love that. I'm not sure that I love it, and I'm not even a marshmallow person. So just objectively, I'm not sure that that note is great. You know what it kind of reminds me of? That off-putting candle that everybody didn't like, the Gwen's Note. That orange one with the sandalwood and the amber and the, which I haven't actually burned yet, but I have more hopes for than this one. It's kind of similar to Gwen's Note in that there is something in the fragrance note that almost goes either sour or flat. And I think it's a combination of a couple different fragrance notes going together that are dissonant, that are not working well together. And that's the immediate like clashing first note that you're gonna smell, and I think the most dominant one. Then back behind it, yeah, I almost want to say sandalwood. I mean, it's almost a savory roasted marshmallow, which is just really odd. Like, it's really not that sweet. And then behind it, which is actually contributing more sweetness than that roasted marshmallow note, is a perfume note, which could very well be an amber combined with the floral note. And the floral note is very soft and frankly can't compete with all the rest of it that's going on there. It's just being drowned by like the marshmallow, by the roast, by the wood, by the perfume, by the amber, and there's the little daffodil. And it's like, ah! It's like the poor bunny, you know. He's extended, you know. But he's sad, like with his ears coming down, right? I can't help kind of liking it on a certain level. If the volume here was like in the 7 or 8 range, at least I think I would have a better sense of the way that the fragrance moves through its paces and blooms, as it were. But because it's so weak and it's so faint, all I'm kind of getting is that initial punch of the roasted marshmallow with the sandalwood that is weird. And then I'm vaguely aware of and appreciate, frankly, the rounding of the amber and the floral to make it kind of like a perfumey floral. To me, this just kind of feels like a conceptual that doesn't know in what direction to go in. So it's ambitious. I love the way that it like covers all 4 of those like fragrance territories, but unfortunately it doesn't land. And so it just kind of seems like a mess. Like it's not sure if it wants to be a gourmand, if it wants to be a perfume, if it wants to be a floral, if it frankly wants to be something that's not particularly sweet and is some sort of like almost rugged masculine thing. I mean, it's just a lot of competing elements that aren't they're just not coalescing in the way that they should. But the major issue is that right now the on cold experience is somewhere in the 3 to 4 range, and I don't have higher hopes for it in terms of the burn. But I don't think like Kent, and he was one of the first ones to get it, I don't think that Kent has actually burned his. So I'm definitely going to be watching to see if him or somebody else also like burns it, and we'll see what the burn experience is. But I am very unlikely to burn this unless I get like amazing reviews from people who have burned it. So yeah, that's Happy Easter. It's kind of strange. And I'm really going to be interested to see who likes it, because I'm not sure that I do. And I'm not sure that the gourmand folks are going to like it. Oh, another one that I noticed too was that the cherry pound cake one looks like this. I actually like the cherry pound cake one a little bit better, and it definitely is a little bit stronger in terms of its experience. I mean, it still didn't like blow me away in terms of the experience, but at least it was stronger than this. By the way, another thing that I want to say is there is something that is almost a little bit similar. Flower Child is actually very similar to this fragrance. I like Flower Child better because Flower Child is it's a simpler conceptual than this one is. It doesn't have the gourmand overtones. So Flower Child is really a botanical with a fresh, maybe soapy perfume, a little tiny bit, but it's more emphasis on the fresh than on like a heavy perfume. And it's very botanical forward. And actually Flower Child, somebody told me in the comments, they were like, Flower Child seems stronger this year. And you're right. It does seem a little stronger in the jar than it was last year, but like that bar is pretty low because it was very faint and weak last time. So Flower Child is marginally stronger, or it seems so in the jar. And it's that beautiful like greenhouse packaging. If you like Flower Child, there's a good chance that you might like this Daffodil Dreams, as long as the gourmand thing wouldn't scare you off. So I think they're very similar, and frankly, they're both very weak. And between the two of them, I would bank on Flower Child before this one. And that's not just because Flower Child is a little bit more in my wheelhouse without the gourmand note, but I actually do think that Flower Child is a little stronger than this one, which that's not good. If Flower Child is stronger than you, it's a yikes. It's a yikes. Okay, what was I talking about then? Oh, the cherry pound cake. So I liked the cherry pound cake a little bit better. It is, as Kent did say, it is overwhelmed with perfume. So unlike this one, the initial note is perfume, and then the pound cake is like underneath it. It's more simple than this one is, for sure. Many people have been saying that it's similar to Japanese cherry tree. I can understand why that would be said, because it's a similar direction from a perfume standpoint, but I found that the pound cake one, the perfume note was brighter and fruitier and lighter than the Japanese cherry, which Japanese cherry for me is not, it's just really heavy, and it's not as fruity or as floral as I would like it to be. It doesn't have those kinds of bright notes that are distinguishable, that frankly you'd kind of want to see in a Japanese cherry blossom kind of even perfume fragrance. So I do think that pound cake one is brighter and juicier, which is appropriate. But it is perfumey, like don't get it twisted. And the pound cake note is really kind of a nuance on the bottom. So I don't know that the gourmand folks are going to love that. For me personally, the pound cake note was discernible though. Discernible enough that I would not purchase that candle. I don't do cake. I don't do cookies. So I don't want a fragrance that smells like cake. And And the perfume note, while it was nice, didn't wow me enough to like really tempt me to buy that particular candle. So that's the Japanese one there. Okay, so the other two candles that I picked up have been on the floor for a bit, and one of them is Lavender Vetiver. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. Frankly, all of these like William Morris kind of candles are beautiful. And I wish I liked more of them because I would have bought the entire collection, no question. Bergamot, what is it? The Bergamot Birch or Bergamot Balsam? Bergamot Balsam? I think it was out in the naturals before this point. It's okay, but it's nothing to write home about. The Fern one is the one that I might purchase at some point, but as with this, as with Flower Child, weak. Bath & Body Works, I don't know what's going on, but the last couple months have not been strong in terms of performance. That's not to say anything about the fragrances themselves or the range of them or the packaging. There are a lot of things here that are going well for Bath & Body Works in the last couple months, if not brilliant. I mean, I don't know that there's been anything that's been like a new candle, with the exception of that Almond Croissant actually is legit. If I was a gourmand person, like that seems like a very legit candle. Certainly a standout in terms of the gourmands that have come down in the last couple months. And if I was that kind of girl, yeah. If it performs well, I could see why that would be a candle. I'm just not going to burn it. And so unfortunately, I can't truly nominate it just because it's not my kind of candle. But with the exception of that one, there have been a lot of weak candles in terms of fragrance strength. And upon them being burned, weak. What's going on? Bath & Body Works needs to get it together. We need to start seeing some stronger candles. Really stronger candles. Yeah. And like, it would be nice if we got some stronger candles that were also nuanced, rather than just like, because it's fairly easy for them to get a strong candle in a certain range, you know, like if it's a mahogany teakwood or strawberry pound cake or something like that. But I would like to see some conceptuals that are strong. I want to see a candle like Tropidelic really perform. I want to see a candle like the Blue Verbena and Lime or whatever, which I haven't actually burned yet. I want to see that kind of a candle perform. All right. Just tie right over there. I was really happy to get this one. It doesn't like blow my mind. I have never burned it. It's not a new candle for them. Lavender and Vetiver. Yeah. But this is a beautiful austere herbal. Not only in the lavender, but in the vetiver. And they have also managed for it to be a pleasant candle through it all. There is a real sweetness that organically does seem to be coming from the lavender and the vetiver. And lavender and vetiver can both be sweet. And they've managed to have herbal versions of both that are also both sweet. And it's really beautiful. That said, it's a very simplistic kind of candle. It's really just lavender and vetiver. In that sense, it's in the genre of those neutrals candles, just lavender, just vetiver, or the candle that I reviewed about a month ago, lavender and vanilla, very much in that genre. It's two things, but it's two things done really, really well. This is wild lavender, warm vetiver, and creamy sandalwood. I could see, and I do smell some sandalwood, but the sandalwood mixes perfectly with the two, perfectly. Lifts them up and blends in with them so well that you can't obviously tell where the lavender and vetiver stop and the sandalwood grounds and picks up. So it's gorgeous. Gwen's note has, I think, sandalwood, lavender, and sage. And maybe it's the sage note that is just not working quite as well as that lavender and vetiver. this combination works from a fragrance standpoint. So I'm really interested to see how that one burns. Mahogany and Vanilla was the other one. I don't love this packaging, but at the same time, it is kind of a nice package for February. You know what I mean? February, March. I'm fine with it. Mahogany Vanilla is warm vanilla, fresh bergamot, and sweet sandalwood. The bergamot is there just to identify itself, as a masculine leaning kind of cologne element. So with the sandalwood and the bergamot. And mahogany is actually not mentioned here in the notes, but it is in fact the mahogany note from mahogany and teakwood, but considerably attenuated with the vanilla and the sandalwood. And it's really nice. It's really nice. I could almost use a little bit more vanilla. And the vanilla that is here is a little bit sharp and a little bit vanilla extract for me. I kind of wish it was a softer, warmer, almost floral vanilla. But yeah, it kind of has a little bit of a like vanilla syrup kind of smell to it, which while it works fine with that mahogany teakwood cologne, I just feel as though would have added another dimension and another layer to this fragrance if it was more soft, creamy, warm, perhaps even floral. I have had this in a single wick, which I've not actually burned. So I was looking around for another candle to purchase, and I was like, you know what? Do it. Do it. Why don't you go for that mahogany vanilla? But I may end up returning this because I have to be honest with you. I have on my on deck circle Vanilla Bean from Henry Bendel, which is very similar to Vanilla Birch, which I also have. So I kind of wanted to do a Vanilla Birch, Vanilla Bean, like compare and contrast. And I think this candle is awfully similar. And so I just think the chances of me burning this here in this season are so slim. And if there's something else that I kind of want to exchange for it, I may end up doing that. But I do really want to do a good dedicated burn of mahogany vanilla at some point here in the future. So that's that. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, the most important candle here was this Daffodil Daydreams, which I just am not really sure that I can recommend at least at this stage. But I'm hoping there will be something. Oh, the other thing too is carrot cake. Sweet carrot cake was out. It was just a really beautiful like package actually. This beautiful like cobalt, almost navy blue with a stone lid topper that has an impress of a little bunny. Kind of like very similar to like, you know, those cookie presses that were stoneware, you know, it's actually really cute. So I smelled that and I was surprised because I think it smells like a harvest candle, which I suppose shouldn't be surprising given that carrot cake actually could just as well have a moment in the harvest season. And in fact, I always try to make a carrot cake for the harvest season, for Thanksgiving period, etc. The carrots are so perfect for like that seasonal, like vegetable, you know, harvest mentality. And then the spices that you usually use for carrot cake are in fact just as easily harvest. So you usually have clove, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg. I mean, they're basically like pumpkin pie spices, and a carrot cake. Like on paper, there's no reason why that shouldn't be like a harvest dessert. And I love it for the harvest season as well as I love it for spring. I actually love carrot cake. It's probably my favorite cake of all time. Although I'm always searching for like the best carrot cake, you know. And actually this year I made a pumpkin carrot cake that was quite good from one of my favorite baker bloggers. Anyway, close parentheses. I was watching Sean from Hearthside yesterday. And he picked up that carrot cake candle and was talking all about how it was pumpkin pecan waffles or something similar to pumpkin pecan waffles. And it kind of went in one ear and out the other. And I was like, huh, interesting, but I didn't really think anything of it until I picked up that candle in the store and smelled it and was like, this is a pumpkin spice candle, And then it came back to me what Sean was saying. And I was like, oh, so interesting. Yeah, if I smelled this cold, there's no way that I would say it was carrot cake. I would say it's some sort of pumpkin baked good, to be honest. So I thought that was really curious because I thought I remembered smelling carrot cake before and it smelled more carroty and more carrot cakey. So is there a difference between carrot cake and sweet carrot cake? Does Bath & Body Works have two candles there? One that's carrot cake and one that's sweet carrot cake? Sweet carrot cake, is that a different one? And if so, that one legit does smell like a pumpkin spice waffle. No question. Or like a pecan pumpkin waffle. I think it does, absolutely. I think he's onto something there. But like I said, I thought I remembered smelling the Bath & Body Works carrot cake one before and not having that impression. So maybe there's two different candles. Anyway, you can tell me about that down below too. But per my earlier comment, I'm not a cake and cookies kind of person. So either way, it wouldn't be a candle for me. But it did seem like it was very strong. So anyway. All right, my friends, that's all I've got for you. Happy Bath & Body Works Day. If you're interested at all, this is your moment to spring for it. Get online, either get it sent to your house because it's very easy to get a $50 purchase order. Get it sent to your house for free, or buy online, pick up on store if you've got stores that you frequent and that have a pretty good selection. But you've got that extra 20% off, so it's a really good price today. Candle reviews coming your way for sure. It's been a minute since I've done some candle reviews, so expect those this week from a whole range of different companies. I'll catch you in the next one.